When people lack the courage to admit mistakes, to apologize, to adapt to reality, they turn into monsters, says Zelensky of the leadership in the Kremlin. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Moscow does not have the courage to admit its misguided policy towards its neighbor. They are afraid to admit that for decades they have taken wrong positions and spent colossal resources to support human zeros they wanted to build as future heroes of the Ukrainian-Russian friendship, Zelensky said in his daily video address on Sunday evening. Moscow's attempt to build up its own people in Ukraine did not work. Because these people were only used to stuffing money from Russia into their own pockets. And to cover up these mistakes, new mistakes were made. Zelensky, Russia blames Ukraine. But in doing so, Russia deprived itself of all political instruments and finally started this war. In addition, Russia is trying to shift the blame for everything onto Ukraine. They seized Crimea, we are supposedly to blame for that, said Zelensky. They destroyed every normal life in Donbass, we are supposedly to blame for that. They killed people in our country for 8 years, we are supposedly to blame for that. This also applies to the destruction of the strongest economic region in Eastern Europe and the destruction of the lives of millions of people. Zelensky, pure cowardice, of Russia. And finally they started a full-scale war against us, and again it's our fault. And all this out of pure cowardice, summed up Zelensky. And when cowardice increases, it turns into a catastrophe, said the head of state. When people lack the courage to admit mistakes, to apologize, to adapt to reality, they turn into monsters, he said, referring to the leadership in the Kremlin. And when the world ignores this, the monsters decide the world must conform to them. Nevertheless, the day will come when Russia will have to admit the truth.